Hello everyone, welcome to my The Way Home official channel. I hope everyone is having a great day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hanging by a Moment is the title of the second episode of Hallmark's The Way Home Season 2. Kat's search for answers takes her to a new place and time in this episode. Kat and Alice take separate journeys to the past, while Del faces a problem in the present. Reads the description of the latest episode. Are you eager to find out more about the next installment of this multi-generational, time-traveling show? What's the topic of hanging by a moment in The Way Home Season 2, Episode 2? Then, in The Way Home Season 2, Episode 2, things become a little trickier. First of all, the title of this episode is Hanging by a Moment. What takes place? The summary reads, Kat meets new individuals along the way as she searches for Jacob and returns him home, but it's unclear if these new acquaintances will be a help or a hindrance. Although Alice has attempted to patch things up with Elliot in the past, their relationship is still shaky at the moment. Del muses on the future of Landry Farm and asks Elliot to back a bold idea. Elliot is told by Del that love is complicated enough. Let's move on to the present. There is some discussion regarding the Landry Farm between Del and Elliot in the Hallmark, The Way Home sneak peek video. She requests him to keep this communication private and gives no further information about the circumstances. I want to keep this land proposal between us for the time being, she states. Elliot will now have to keep a secret. Elliot does, however, tell Del that he saw his father in Mexico. Del sent a card from Mexico, so he was prepared for this. How is Victor? She inquired. The two stared at one another, neither providing any backstory. Victor remains unchanged. Furthermore, that is not shocking. Finally, Del gives Elliot some wise counsel before the talk comes to a close. You know, relationships and friendships can be seen from a different angle when you travel. Elliot, don't overthink things. Love is already a complicated enough thing. Will Elliot take her advice now? Sneak preview, Hiding for a While, Journey Home. When is Hanging by a Moment, The Way Home premiere? The Way Home Season 2, Episode 2 titled Hanging by a Moment will debut on the Hallmark Channel on Sunday, January 28 at 9 p.m. Eastern. Furthermore, Peacock will air this episode for up to 72 hours following its release. Additionally, beginning on Monday, January 29, Hanging by a Moment will be accessible for streaming on the Hallmark Movies Now app. Finally, what do you believe to be the major land deal that Elliot and Del discussed? How will this impact the time travel events, in your opinion? The Way Home, the season finale of Hallmark's brand new television series, was a narrative masterwork. While a lot of the intricacy and subtlety was clarified, we were also left with more unanswered issues until the next episode. A significant turn of events towards the conclusion of the season disclosed that hints left here and that actually lead to the solving of a significant mystery. Throughout addition to all the complexity, the actors' performances throughout the episode conveyed a wide spectrum of emotions. Even though everyone really came to life at the climax, I would rank Andie MacDowell's portrayal of Del Landry as the MVP. Her response to Alice's song made me cry as well. In addition to analyzing the performances and plot, the review of The Way Home's conclusion will examine fan hypotheses over what precisely transpired at the end. There are significant spoilers for The Way Home Season 1 in this article. Just as Elliot makes the decision to go on, Kat has to relive a devastating loss. The majority of the episode is on Kat and Alice Landry coping with the heartbreaking realization that they caused Colton's death. Alice was in the road that Colton was driving, having followed her mother into the past. In her attempt to save Alice, Kat killed Colton by making him swerve in an attempt to avoid them. Elliot urges Kat to live in the now from the minute she gets back, heartbroken after seeing her father's death. Even though Elliot has been Kat's biggest supporter this season, I didn't think it was appropriate for him to urge her to ignore what transpired so fast. Experiencing her father's death is a level of trauma that may lead to PTSD. It seems like he was asking for too much too quickly when he acted as though she should be able to move on from it right away and concentrate on the here and now. It made sense that Kat and Alice would want to alter the past, so they went back in time. Kat did her best, and you can't blame her after what happened to Jacob. It's only a human. Thus, I found it difficult to feel sorry for Elliot in this episode. Kat wasn't being cruel to him by attempting to save her father. She was merely attempting to maximize a very brief window of opportunity, being human. At one point, Kat understands that, because her mother saw her at the funeral, she was also the reason she believed her dad was having an extramarital affair. Elliot becomes enraged with her for living in the past and becomes convinced that she is the cause of all the negative things that have transpired. I found his response strange and inappropriate. Given the serious trauma she is experiencing, it makes sense that she needs time to digest the past. She is unable to put her trauma behind her and move on. As the episode draws to a close, Elliot claims that the information Alice gave him about the future forced him to go down a certain route. He has never felt fully free, and he has come to the conclusion that living without the Landrys is preferable to facing an uncertain future beside Kat. Several admirers offer insightful commentary on his choice. Some fans speculated in a Hallmark group conversation that Elliot recognized he would always be Kat's helper, but not her true love, after talking to Brady. That maybe he wanted Kat to defend him in the same way that she will defend others. On the other hand, I believe that he and Kat are stuck with this choice. After witnessing her father's death not too long ago, Elliot is now ending their relationship at a moment when she is extremely vulnerable. I think they will reconcile eventually, but I find it difficult to forgive Elliot for this choice. The only plausible explanation I can think of is if a Kat from the future had also paid him a visit. Maybe he made his choice knowing that Kat needed to be free to devote all of her attention to going back in time to the 1800s. He can't tell Kat the truth though, because it concerns her own future. That's the nature of time travel after all. Did Colton know who Kat was? Colton appeared to recognize Kat when he passed away, in a heartbreaking episode that aired last week. Declaring his love for her, he called her Catherine. Inquiring about its significance, she brings this up to Elliot once more. However, Elliot seems to be dismissing it in an odd way, which makes me question again whether a future Kat has revealed something to him that he isn't allowed to discuss. Some speculate that Colton is also time-traveling, which would explain the interaction between him and Dell from last week's episode, which she brought up again in the finale. Colton mentioned that he would go back and make things right. It would also clarify why, at the very end, he recognized adult Kat. Many admirers speculate that Colton may still be there because he has used the pond. The entire program had a lovely quality to it. I really enjoyed the little passage that hinted at Alice and Spencer's potential future romance. It took a while for Brady and Kat to finalize their divorce, but they did it. A lot of loose ends were secured. However, several threads were just starting to come loose. We discovered at the conclusion that Dell's dog can use the pond to travel across time. He was traveling to Dell's time to remain with her after going back in time to play with Jacob. Jacob quickly departed to go after the dog after Kat gave the impression that she had escorted him back to the house. A note he put in the laundry notebook states that he fell into the pond during the operation and ended up back in the 1800s. Additionally, we discovered that Kat was the woman we first saw jumping into the pond in the opening scene. She has been traveling back in time to the 1800s in an attempt to save Jacob and bring him into the present, as the last scene disclosed. However, many questions remain. We are aware that the pond allows Kat, Alice, and the dog to travel across time. Elliot has stated that he can't, but is that really the case? The dog's ability to travel through time disproves the assumption that the Landry family possesses time travel. It's probably safe to say that Dell hasn't time-traveled via the pond. Andie MacDowell exhibited the most exquisite, real feelings of surprise, amazement, anguish, and ecstasy when she heard Alice singing Colton's song. but she would have connected the dots in that instant if she had known about the pond. She didn't, though. Fans do believe Colton may have also used the pond, though, and if so, it's possible that Colton will appear in Season 2. I sincerely hope it's true, since Jefferson Brown has performed so brilliantly in that part. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.